Hi, and welcome to my channel. Welcome back if you have been here before. It is a pleasure having you. Today we are going to talk about how to journal your spreads that you do and the importance of journaling your reads that you do for yourself. So first off, I will say that in my experience and with a lot of other tarot readers that I have come across and talked to, we have found that it is a lot more easy for us to read for somebody else than it is to read for ourselves. And the reason behind that is because we have an emotional attachment to our own readings. So sometimes it's a little bit difficult to separate our emotions from what we're seeing. So that is one of the reasons why it's really important to journal your pulls that you do for yourself, because then you can come back at a later time with a fresh lens and know you're not sitting in the emotions of the moment, and you can see it a little bit more clearly. So I wrote down one of my polls that I did back in January, and I laid it back out. You can't see all of it, but I'll talk you through it. So this is how I, in my journal, write down what I have pulled. So I do the date and the day of the week, and then I like to put whether it was in the morning, afternoon, or at night. I always put what deck I used, what spread I used, and what my question was. I don't recommend, if you're brand new, that you are like, just show me what I need to see, like I did here. I do recommend that you always have a specific question, and you ask that specific question while you're shuffling, and then you keep your answers with that specific question. So if it's business, your answer is business related. If it's relationship, your answer is relationship related, that kind of stuff. So then, because I did a Celtic cross spread, I write down all 10 positions, and then I also utilize the bottom of the deck card as well. So then I put that in. And then I leave space towards the bottom where I can write down my feelings of the reading and during the reading, and then what I took from the reading. And I'll leave a little bit more space at the bottom as well, so if I feel like I need to come back at a later date and re-look at it, I can write down the date and time and what new feelings or thoughts that I got from the read. So that's how how I would recommend that you would write down in your journal what you pulled and what your reading is about. So mine in first position was the Ace of Swords, and that is the situation. And then the challenge or obstacle in position 2 was Seven of Swords. In position 3, the foundation of what's going on was Three of Pentacles. And then for my next one, I went in this order. So for 4, that is in the recent past, and that is the Five of Pentacles. 5 is the current thoughts, and that was Seven of Pentacles. 6 is the near future, and that was the Five of Rods or Wands. 7 was how I see myself in the situation, and it's the Tower. 8 is how others saw me in the situation, and that was Six of Cups. 9 is hopes or fears, and that was Five of Cups. And then 10 was likely outcome, and that was Two of Pentacles. And then I had Temperance at the bottom of the deck. I'll just set her up there. So being able to look back in your journal and relay it out with a fresh set of eyes gives you a brand new perspective of what was going on, especially if you had a specific question in mind and you wrote that question down, and you can come back to that with spreads like the Celtic cross or the 5-card cross. There's specific positions for every card, and so you can come back and be like, okay, so the situation was Ace of Swords. That's like a new thought, or a new like venture, news, something of that sort. And the challenge or obstacle to it was the 7 of Swords. So like maybe sneakiness or thievery, something along those lines. And you can see at the time my current thoughts were 7 of Pentacles, like, looking at everything that I had been doing and working towards, and like reevaluating it, right? In the recent past with the 5 of Pentacles, that's like feeling out in the cold and struggling and like, poverty mindset. And then the near future at the time was 5 of Rods, which in this deck, rods are wands. And so that's like, kind of practice battling, or, practicing a new talent or a new passion of some sort. I do, in the last about a year, I frequently get the Tower in my reads, which, just so that you're aware, every single card in the tarot deck has a positive and a negative, and it depends on what other cards are around it. Those will help you determine, like, is this a positive tower or a negative tower? And sometimes, my intuition will just tell me, even though the cards don't look that happy and positive, it is a positive tower. Like, where it's sitting in the position of how I see myself, that could very well mean, like, I am causing tower moments for myself because I'm choosing to change a lot of things in my life. But if the situation was Tower with 7 of Swords on it, that would be a pretty clear indication to me that that is not a positive tower, right? Where others were seeing me in this situation as 6 of Cups, that reiterates that that was a positive tower. That was a self-made tower, right? So in the hopes or fears position up here in number 9 with 5 of Cups, that would have been my fears at the time, like my fear of loss. Obviously, that's not a hope type of card, but likely outcome at the time was 2 of Pentacles, so it was really my choice, whether it was going to be a positive or negative situation going on. So at the time, I didn't write it down on the paper, but at the time, like, this spread, this poll kind of freaked me out, and I was like, oh, really, what is going on? But then, looking at it now, I can see, like, my energy, how I saw myself at the time was the Tower. I was the one causing the Tower. I was the one making the changes, and I was making the changes for the better. And you can see a lot of Pentacles here, so that was in my physical world, not so much like my thoughts or my feelings or anything like that. It was more so my physical world was changing and being affected. And so that's one of the reasons that it's really important to journal your polls that you do for yourself, because, like I said, at the time, this really got under my skin. Not so much freaked me out, but more so like a little bit of anxiety and like, oh, what am I in for now? But in this moment, I can look at it and see, like, oh, it was me causing the changes. It was me making the choices. It was me making progress and building towards something, right? And then Temperance at the bottom of the deck. The bottom of the deck to me means different things. depending on the polls that I'm doing. So in this case, I would take that as like, needing to take a step back and balance myself and my physical world, my emotions, and, really take a look at what was going on. So that is how you would write down in your journal your poll that you do, and relay it out and re-look at it. And then also, why it's so important to do so. Because like I said, I'm not the only tarot reader that struggles with reading for themselves. There are quite a few, a lot actually, that really struggle reading for themselves but have no problem reading for others. And it is because of that emotional attachment in the moment. Like, this is about me and my life and what's going on, and I need to pull back. I need to write it down and put it away and pull back and ground myself and get my emotions in check, and then come back at a later date and look at it again. So that is how you will journal your polls. And then if you feel you need to at a later date, come back and relay it out and re-look at it again. And that's, also why it's really important that you always have a question in mind. Because if you just go into it like, show me what I need to see, like I did, it could be an infinite amount of possibilities. But had I asked, like, specifically, what's going on with business for me, I could take that very much as a business read with all these pentacles, right? Or what is going on in my relationship that I have. That's a physical world type thing, but it could also be an emotional world type thing. So if there was a lot of cups here, that would mean that. So it is very important to always have a question in mind so that you can narrow down the possibilities of what the poll is saying to you, and journal them always. And if you are brand new beginner, I would also suggest, on top of always having a question and always journaling, that you pick a spread that you use every time and you stick to that spread, and you shuffle the exact same way every time. So there's less wiggle room for your physical brain to mess with you, or your intuition, you to waver in your intuition or anything like that, until you get really confident with reading for yourself or for others. So thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Comment below. Was this helpful to you? Will you journal? Do you journal your polls? If so, what are some things that you do differently than I do? I'm always open to learn as much as I possibly can from all different points of view. So let me know. Thanks again, and you have a wonderful day.